السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Okay, the sound is good. جزاكم الله خير. Okay, how are you doing, everyone? Great, that's nice. Okay, I'm fine, thanks. Before we say something concerning the structure section in our course, from my analysis, I saw that many of learners are not interested in answering the practices and the exercises of the structure. Maybe they think that it's not important, but actually it's very, very important. It will teach you how to structure, how to make your own, how to build a sentence. Okay, so this unit is a unit of the writing section. Okay, so we have to understand that we are not going to be able to write an essay unless we know how to build a sentence. So that's why we are taking our time studying the grammar and analyzing the structure of a sentence and the tenses and the verbs, and because it's very, very important. Actually, it's the whole thing about English. Okay, especially when it has to do with academic learning. Okay, when you have to do with casual talking or to hold a casual conversation, it's not very important to study grammar or to be aware with grammatical rules. Okay, but concerning academic learning, how to build a sentence. Okay, or to write a sentence in a sound English form, in a correct English form. Okay, so I just wanted to make it clear, and let's start our session today. We're going just to make overview about the last quick revision. Okay, concerning the last session, just to make it coherent. It's loading. Okay. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'm sorry, it's very slow. The internet is very slow. Just 1 minute. Okay, we said that in the TOEFL exam, if we are taking the paper test, the paper-based test, we are going to find two types of questions, like to complete the tense correctly, and the second type is to find out where is the mistake. Okay, to point the mistake in the sentence. Okay. Then we said there you can hear me or not? unit of writing is subject, predicate, and object. So in this subject and then the predicates, and here object. Here's the subject, the snow. The object is falling. So we have, this is a unit of building any sentence in English. We have to start with the subject, then verbs, then object or predicate. We said the subject of a sentence can be singular or compound, which we call plural. Okay, sometimes the subject can be singular and sometimes can be plural, like I or Ted and I. I singular, Ted and I plural. Two people are making one action. Okay, what about the predicate? Can be also a singular or compound or plural. That means a person or any subject can do one action or can do two actions, one each time or so. Okay, so and then we talked about direct object, and we said direct object receives the action, receives the verb. Okay, the direct object receives the verb. What about the indirect object? The indirect object receives the direct object. The indirect object receives the direct object. Like what? Like in the sentence, Emma received, I gave Emma a gift. Who received the verb, the action? Emma or a gift? A gift. Okay, so the gift is no, Mr. Amir. Who received gave? Gave, no. Who received gave? Emma or a gift? Gave. No. Received the action. Received the action, the verb. So, who received the verb? Okay, who received the gift? Who? Which word here received the gift? Emma. So Emma is the indirect object. Why? Because it receives the direct object. Okay, so we can find two objects in a sentence, like indirect and direct object. The direct object receives the action itself. Eat, sleep, run, play, swim, whatever. Okay, but the indirect object receives the direct object, like the teacher threw the children a surprise party. Throw. Here, where's the indirect object? The direct object. Children or party? Surprise party. Why? Because it receives the action directly. Okay? Yeah, that's right. Okay? What about independent and dependent clauses? We talked about dependent and independent clauses. Okay. Independent means it doesn't need any help to complete its meaning. It has an independent meaning by itself. But the dependent means another part, another clause to complete its meaning. It cannot stand alone. Kindly calm down on the chat because the chatting affects the sound. So if you have a question concerning the lecture, you may ask. If not, please Assalamu alaikum. Okay, now. Nice. Great. Thank you very much. If you have okay, let me okay. Do all of you have a problem with the voice? With the sound? Mr. Rabia, you may refresh your page. Okay, so if you are facing any problems with the sound, please refresh your page. Press F5 or just refresh the page from the top bar. Okay? Jazakumullah khairan. Okay, so here we go. We said independent and dependent clauses. The clause is a small sentence. When the sentence gives a complete meaning, that means it's independent. It can't stand by itself. Okay? When it gives incomplete meaning, that means it's dependent. It needs another clause to complete its meaning. Like here, if we said it rained. If we said it rained, complete rain. But if it rained is it. We need another part to make sense. Okay. What about subordinating conjunctions? Subordinating conjunctions are tools by which we can join two clauses together, whether they are dependent clauses or independent clauses. Okay, whether these two clauses are dependent or independent. Okay, like when a clause has a subordinate conjunction, it must be connected to an independent clause to become complete thought. Like, because it rained, the game was cancelled. The game was and it closed. It can't stand alone. Okay, and it became a sentence with a both dependent and independent clause is called complex sentences. When the independent clauses are combined, the result is compound sentence. Compound sentence. Okay, so this is the difference between the complex and complex. Two kinds of clauses, dependent and independent. What about the compound sentence? It's that means that two independent clauses are combined together. As for phrases and modifiers, we said there is a difference between phrases and modifiers. The phrase, which has to do with stating place or time, like on, in, over, and so on. And it consists of preposition and noun or pronoun, like in the kitchen, on the chair, and so on. What about the modifiers? The modifiers are words and phrases that qualify or describe people, places, things, and action. Phrases. Then we call it what? What do we call it? When we describe nouns. Which part of speech describes nouns? Adjectives. It was a question. Am I disconnected? Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so when a noun, when voice is not clear. Guest 80, please refresh your page. Okay, the last sentence we said modifiers are words. Modifiers are words and phrases that qualifies or describe people, places, things, and actions. That means when the word describes people, places, or thing, which is a noun, we call it adjective. The adjective describes nouns. The adjective describes nouns. Okay, what part of speech which describes actions, verbs, adverbs? The adverb describes verb. Okay, the adverb describes verb. Is it clear? Okay, let's go on. This is a proposition, a short list. Prepositions are extremely important, and they help to understand the object relates to each other in space and time. And these lists are some of the prepositions that used in English, like through, throughout, till, to, off, on, out, over, since, for, except, behind, below, beneath, and so on. Okay. What about the parts of speech? Parts of speech. The parts of speech are words. Parts of speech determine the function and form. According to the part of speech, we determine the form of the word and the function of this word in a sentence. The noun's function is to name, to give name to person or place or thing or concept. Concept like happiness, sadness, and so on. As for the pronouns, takes the place of a noun, so the noun doesn't have to be repeated. Like I, you, he, she, us, they, this, that, themselves, somebody, who, and which. As for the verb, it describes an action. We said that verb means action. Action happens or done. Like jumps, become, is, seem. Okay. What about the helping verbs? The helping verbs also are called auxiliary. Assalamu alaikum. Would you please stop chatting? Don't I'm not going to disable that chat, okay? I want you to don't ask about anything else unless we finish, okay? Because you are wasting our time and your colleagues' time, and this is not fair. Okay, I will give you time at the end to write your question in a outside paper as a note, and then we can ask and we can discuss everything at the end of the lecture. Okay, so but during distracting your Mr. Muhammad at the end of the lecture, write your question on an outside piece of paper, and then you may ask when we finish. I'm going to receive all your questions and answer all your questions, but writing on the chat right now, it distracts me, it affects the sound, and it's taking us out of the point. Okay, so let's go back to the function of which are also called auxiliary verb. The auxiliary verb, it's not a main verb. It comes to the sentence in order to help the main verb, okay? Combines with other verbs like main verbs to create verb phrase that helps indicate tenses, okay? So, like forms all the forms of verb to be or verb to have, can, may, will, and should and shall, and so on, okay? As for the adjective, as we said, the adjective describes nouns, okay, and pronouns, of course, okay? So when the word describes noun, so we know that this word is an adjective. What about an adverb? The adverb describes verb, okay, like slowly, happily, always, very, yesterday, and so on. As for the preposition expresses the relation between the relationship in time or place between words in a sentence. Like where the chair is in the classroom, or something like that, okay? So we determine or we state the time or the space, like in, on, around, above, okay? As for the verbs, here's the most important part in the whole grammar, okay? This part is very important, so please focus. We call the verb the agents of action in a sentence. They are the heart of a sentence because they express the action or the state of being, whether they express the action itself, like play, run, rain, help, okay, or state of being. The infinitive base, how to form the infinitive base is to write to plus the base form of verb. To go, to do, to be, to desire, to arrange, and so on. As for the present tense, the verb form that expresses what is happening now, or it expresses a habit or a routine or a fact. I'm glad you are here, and you are. Chester smiles a lot. Smiles. The present tense of regular verbs is formed as follows. As the first person, for the singular will be dream, and the plural will be dream. The second person will be dream for the singular, and dream for plural. As for the third person, he and she and it, the singular will be, we add s or t or es. As for the plural, we write the verb. As for the present participle, the verb form that describes what is happening now. It ends in the ing and is accompanied by helping verbs such as is or verb to be. Simply, we use verb to be plus the verb plus ing. Am or is or are according to the subject itself, plus the verb like smile or walk, plus ing like smiling or walking. But we have to be careful that sometimes the word with ing is not always a present participle. Sometimes it's a gerund, so we have to be sure that it's a verb, not a gerund. How can we differentiate between a present participle and a noun, or maybe an adjective? Let's see. Words that ends in ing don't always function as verbs. Sometimes they act as a noun, and they are called gerunds. They can also function as an adjectives called participle phrases. Participle phrases. In the present simple, you will find this form: verb to be plus verb plus ing. He's eating. This is the action. But look at this sentence: that plastic food is not for eating. Is this a verb? Like that plastic fruits. Okay, this is the subject, and then the verb is the action, or is a state of being, is not for eating. Here the word eating is not a verb, it's a gerund. If we said the sleeping baby awoke, okay, here the sleeping is a describing word. It describes someone, a noun. That means this word is a adjective. Okay, so the grammar has to do with the meaning. The grammar has to do with the meaning. We have to understand what convey. If I want to state an action or a state of being, proper. Miss Manal, in which sentence? Where is the verb in which sentence? In the last one. Okay, you tell me. The sleeping baby awoke. Excellent, very good. Yes, awoke, not woke. Not woke. Okay, awoke. Awoke means wake up in the past. Okay, as for the past tense, the verb form that expresses what happened in the past. The verb form that expresses what happened in the past. It rained 4 inches yesterday. Here the action happened and is completely finished or done in the past. Okay? What about the past participle? The verb form that describes an action that happens in the past and is used with the helping verb has. Okay, it had rained 4 days. Chester has not smiled 4 days. Okay. As for the regular verbs, the regular verbs are the verbs which follows a specific rule. The regular verbs are verbs which follow rules forming the present participle, the past tense, past participle form, and even the present tense. Okay? The present participle is formed by adding ing. The past or past participle is formed by adding ed. If the verb ends with the letter e, we just add d. And if the verbs end with the letter y, for the past tense, we change the y into I and we add ed. If the I is consonant. If it's preceded by a vowel, we keep the y as itself. Okay. Some verbs in the English language have the same present and past and the past participle form. Here's a partial list of those verbs, followed by several examples, like bit, hit, hurt, spread, cost, quit, upset, or cut, or read. Okay, so these verbs do not change. We do not change the form of these verbs. As for the irregular verbs, the regular verbs, they do not follow any rule. We have to study them. We have to study these irregular verbs. We can find the irregular verbs list on the internet. We can search for any list. It will work. Okay, it will be useful for you. Okay, but you have to have this reference. It's very important to have a list for the irregular verbs. We can divide these verbs into three categories. The first one, the first irregular verb with the same past and past participle, like plead, pled, pled, or meet, met, met. Okay? As for the irregular verbs with three distinct forms, like go, went, gone, is, am or is or are, was or were, been. The three different distinct forms are totally different. They are different already, okay? Some irregular verbs with the same present and past participle forms, like come, came, come. The present is the same like the past participle. Okay. Now we are going to start with the helping verb. Okay, sorry for this. I guess the sound is okay now. The voice isn't. Okay. So, concerning the helping verbs, we said that helping verbs are not main verbs in the sentences. Okay? They come to make some functions, but they are not main. They are helping the main verb. Helping verbs are called auxiliary verbs. They are very important. The following table lists the helping verbs, their forms and their meanings, and we choose the helping verb according to the meaning that we want to convey. When we are writing an essay or a passage or any paragraph, we have to make sure that our vocabulary choice is matching with the meaning that we want to convey, the meaning that we want to deliver, okay, to avoid misunderstanding. Okay, so a verb like will or shall, the past form of it would be would, and it means, it gives the meaning of intention. Give you the report. Another helping verb is can. The past form of it is could, and it gives the meaning of ability. They can do the job. Fatima read by the time she was 3. So there's one point I want to make it clear here. We have to make sure that we use the word with ability. If you can't do it, so you are disabled. Okay, so if you are asking someone whether they can see something on a picture or something, you should say, do you see the horse in the picture, for example? Okay, instead of saying, can you see the horse in the picture? Why? Because if you said, can you see the horse in the picture, here it has to do with the ability of seeing, you know, like are you, as if you are asking, are you blind, can you see this or not, okay? But the correct form of of asking about this matter, you have to say, do you see? Okay, so as for may and might, can and could, the past form is could and might, and they has to do with permission, taking permission. You may be excused. We could leave early if we want to. As for the verb should plus have plus past participle give the meaning of recommendation. The nurse said I should lie down and rest. As for must and have to, the past tense had to, and it means necessity. Something you have to do. When I say you have to do your homework, or you have to listen to your parents, okay? So you have no options. It's obligatory. What about the verb should? Should plus have plus past participle means expectations. You should have sent you, the doctor should have sent you a copy of his report, okay? That he was expecting, the person is expecting something. Could in the past and could in the future. In which part it gives you them? What do you mean? This part? Okay, here is a very important point that I highlighted before, that the context plays a very important role in determining the meaning and the tense. Okay, if your sentence is giving the meaning of the past, so could will be in the past. But if your sentence is giving the meaning of the future, that's why we said that it has to do with the meaning, and the context itself plays a very important role. You determine whether to use the present, past, or future. Okay, like for example, the present participle is going. Is going means or is playing or is swimming, whatever. Okay, this gives the meaning of progressive. I mean, like at this time you are doing something. But in some context, if you said Ali is traveling by the coming week, okay, here is traveling is not the present participle anymore. Okay, it gives the meaning of the future, the meaning of the sentence exactly. The context is very important. Okay, is it clear now? Great. Okay, as for should and should have plus past participle, we said it expresses the expectations. As for may and might have past participle, it gives the meaning of possibility, whether you is it possible to do so or not. Okay, the revolution might not have succeeded without their support. Okay, so there is a possibility. It's not certain. We are not talking about certainty here, you know. So it can happen or not. It depends. Okay, Miss Remy, can you understand what I'm saying, Miss Remy? Or Mr. Remy? Miss Remy, can you understand what I'm saying now? Excellent. This is the point. Inshallah, after this, I'm going to contact you, and I'm going to make everything clear for you. Just now, I need you to focus on this lecture. Okay? And then I'm going to explain the whole thing for you. Okay? Yes. Obviously, we are discussing grammar. Yes. Structure. Structure and style. Style of writing. As for the subjective mood, as for the subjunctive mood, the subjunctive mood is verb is used to express something that is wished for or that is contrary to fact. The subjunctive form of was is where. It's quite possible that you will see a question about the subjunctive on the TOEFL exam, like they're human beings. Obviously, you are not a bad fish. You are not a bad even. Okay? So we are consuming something. We are assuming something. Okay? So if Andre were more responsible, he could be trusted with this job. That means that Andre is not responsible person. Okay, do you understand this part? We are assuming something. We are saying something which is not true. Like, if I were you, I would go to a doctor, for example. Okay? But I will never be you. It's impossible. Okay? Like, if you were a car, you will suffer from the petrol crisis, maybe. Okay? If you were a football player, you will be like famous or something like that. Okay, but you are not a football player, you are not a car, you are not a pet, and you are not me, of course. Okay? So is that point clear? Mr. BD, so what? What's the point of what? I'm sorry, I didn't get your point. The point is, if you are assuming a situation, imaginary situation, if you are going to write something about science fiction, for example, okay, if you are going to form a sentence like, if we were living in the future, okay, you are not living in the future, and it's impossible to live in the future. Yes, or to give someone an advice. That's true. No, somehow yeah, okay. You say examples about what? Yeah, it's impossible. It will never be done. I'm a doctor, I would treat you. If I were a doctor, okay? Okay, so is it clear? Now you know how to form such a structure? The whole point of our course is, or this lecture is how to form a sound English structure. Okay, how to generate a sound English sentence. We use, Miss Manel, we use was or were. We don't use the present simple of any other verb. We use only was or were. Okay, this is a very important part, which is also it's very clear that it causes troubles, not for ESL our English second learners only, but also for native speakers. These sets of verbs are particularly troublesome, even of native speakers of English. Okay, I will just I would like to apologize for the cutting voice, or maybe the trembling in my voice, because it's very cold in here, and just I can't control it. So I hope you are patient enough for this. Okay, so as for lie and lay, sit and sat, and rise and raise, to use is remembering which verb in each pair needs an object. Okay, so lie and lay. Lie, to rest or recline. We don't need object here. I lie down means I'm taking rest, okay? I'm resting or something like this. But if I said I lay, here's to put or place, to put something. Lay the books down on the table. Lay the books down on the table. If we said go lie down if you are tired, here the action doesn't need any objects. But here, this action, it needs an object. Lay the books. Put the books. As for sit and sat. Sit means to rest, to sit down. You sit by yourself. You don't need an object. Sit down. But what about set? To set, to put or place. Like he set the books on the table in the corner. He sets the books. He puts something. Okay? I'd like to sit at the corner table. Please. As for rise and raise. Rise means to go up by itself. When I say rise, it means to go up by itself. It doesn't need an object. But raise, to move something up. Raise, to move something up. Like raise your hand. When I say rise, to go up, like up early today. Okay, he to raise something, to move something up. Okay, like raise your hand. So here the object will be hand. Now, is it clear? Yes, raise your voice. Raise something. Raise anything. Yes, Mr. Remy, that's right. Or Mr. Second. In the second one, where's the object? The second sentence. Which one here? He sets. Which second sentence? I'm sorry, Miss Rasha. The last one. The minimum amount to open the account has been raised from, no, okay, okay, I didn't get your point, but if you get it, it's okay. Okay, here's the basic forms of these verbs, can also be a bit tricky. We have to know, to be familiar with these forms, because it's troublesome, and sometimes they are taking a different forms, which looks like yeah, I mean, like, look here, like lie, lies, in the past would be lay, like here. Okay, so we have to be careful, we have to study this table. Like lie or lies will be lying in the present participle, and in the past it would be lay. In the past participle will be lain. As for the present lay or lays, the present participle will be laying, and the past will be laid. The past participle will be laid. Sit, sits, sitting. Sat, sat. Set, sets, setting. Sit, set, set. Rise, rises, rising. Rose, rising. Raise, rises, raising. Rised, rised. Which one, Miss Hiba? Which one? Which pronunciation is it? No, they don't have the same pronunciation. Which pair, Miss Hiba? No. It means to rest, and yes, to say a lie. It has two meanings, Mr. Dr. Riham Masoud. Question. Which question? I didn't say any question. Is there a difference between lie, not telling the truth, and lie to rest? No. The first one means saying something not true. Which one? Sorry for my light. Okay. Lie. Lay. Lay means rest. No. Lay means... Okay, guys. It's kinda troublesome. What's the difference between till and until? No, not necessarily not sit on X, Mr. or Miss PG. Okay, so what's the problem here about this schedule? Or this table? Yes, the tense participle. That's true, Mr. Mahmoud. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. It's clear. Great. Meaning, Mr. Bia, yeah, that's why we have to memorize them. Okay? We're not going to get it by the skill or something like that. We have to focus. Even native speakers, it's troublesome for everyone, you know. We have something like similar in Arabic, like ibra and abra. Okay, so like if we say the ibra means like a moral lesson. No? first one means rest, the second one outside rest. No, Dr. Reham, no, it's not right. The first one means rest, and the second one means put. Okay, sit means to sit down. Remember it with sit down, to sit, to rest. But set, to put something. To put something, okay? Okay. So in Arabic also we have this, like, we said, like, عبرة is like a مرض, totally two different meanings with the very same form. Just a move or a vowel changes and it changes the meaning. Okay, is it clear now? Okay, great. Okay, that's nice. Dr. Riham, why? What's confusing? Dr. Riham, which part is confusing? Okay, again, the words in the present. I'm going different between lies and lay. Okay, first I will state the difference between lies and lay. Okay, in the present. Oh, okay. So, lie means to sit or to rest or to take a nap or to just to, you know, like to sit on your bed. Okay. As for lay, means to put something. Lie does not need an object. Like you said, there is no object. Sit, lie on your bed. Okay, so there's no object. But what about lay? Lay your books on the table. Here we need an object. Dr. Riham, is it clear? Is it clear now? One of them needs an object and the other doesn't need any object. Okay, concerning the pronunciation of them, lie, lies, lay, lays, sit, sits, set, sets, rise, rises, raise, raises. Do you think they have the same pronunciation? Do you still they have the same pronunciation? Okay, I'm waiting for your reply. They are different, right? They are totally different. Great. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sorry, I just forgot who asked about the pronunciation. They don't have the same pronunciation. Yeah, Miss Heba, you asked about the pronunciation. I hope you get it. Okay, let's go on. This part is very, very, very important because it has to do with our writing section. Inshallah, we have to remember this part whenever we continue in our TOEFL. So I'm sorry, I just get disconnected. Engineer Ahmad Sabri, your name is changed already. Okay? Okay, so the consistent tense. That means when we start writing a passage, if we started writing it with using the present tense, we shouldn't change our tense, our usage of the present tense. Don't mix your tenses as you write. Why? Because this will confuse your readers. They will get confused whether action are taking place in the present or took place in the past. Look at the following pairs of sentences. The following pairs of sentences. The officer unlocked the truck and searches for contraband. Unlocked searches. This is a weird structure. It doesn't give any, it doesn't have like any sense. But we should say unlocked and searched. Okay? And of course, this is applied on the question and answer. If the question is in the present simple, so the answer should be in the present simple as well. If the question is the present participle, the answer should be in the present participle as well. What are you doing? Are doing. I am reading. Okay? We shouldn't say like, what are you doing? And your answer is, I read book or books or magazines. That means you're not fluent enough to perform or to generate such sentences. Okay? Is it clear? Is this part clear? Why, Miss Naveen? Why it's not clear? Again, never mind, it's okay. I'm going to say it again. Okay, the consistent tense. Consistent tense. That means to be consistent with using one tense in a sentence or in a paragraph. Okay? Like to help make sure your readers are clear about when actions occur. That means to make your message clear, you have to make your writing style clear. A past starting to start with the present simple. I should stay in the present simple tense until I finish my passage. Why? Because if I mix the tenses, the reader will be confused about what I mean. Like if I said the officer unlocked the truck and searches for contraband, or the verb is in the past simple and this verb is in the past simple. Okay? They have to have the same tense. I shouldn't mix. This one is in the past simple and this one is in the present simple, and this is wrong structure. Like when we increase advertising expenses, we reduce profits. Here, increased and increased. This is a wrong structure. What about this sentence? Increase and reduce. Both of them, well, agreement, we call agreement for another part, Miss Dr. Hiba. Dr. Okay, so جزاكم الله خيرا Mr. and Mrs. BJ. Questions about what, Mr. Remy or Mrs. Remy? Okay, so as we said, yes, agreement is another thing. Okay, okay, جزاكم الله خيرا Mr. Remy or Mrs. Remy. Okay, so we finished this part. Is it clear? Clear. Great. Okay, it's very simple, but it's very important, and believe me, most of your mistakes in the writing can be found in this part. Yes, it's recorded, and you are going to, inshallah, we are going to upload videos. But the last session, I don't know why it's not uploaded yet to the internet or something. So inshallah, I'm going, whenever it will be available, I'm going to post it on the group's wall. Okay. Okay, again, using the chat heavily affects the sound and the speed of the internet. So kindly calm down on the chat, because it affects the internet speed and it disconnects me and affects the sound as well. Okay? جزاكم الله خيرا. If you have an important question, you can post it right now. If it's not very important and irrelevant to the lecture, please you can ask it later on. Thanks. Mr. Rabia, we don't need it. I need to make sure that all of you understand. I'm not going to disable it. Okay, mashallah, you are very you are like awesome guys. Okay, so as for the agreement, here we are going to talk about the agreement. The agreements in all sentences, verbs should agree with their subjects. In all sentences, verbs should their subjects. The singular subjects need singular verbs, and plural subjects need plural verbs. How come? He always do a very good job. He is a singular subject. He, one person. And do is a plural verb. Plural form of a verb. He always do a very good job. Is it the correct form? It's not correct. Why? Because the subject is singular, The verb is plural, and the verb has to agree with the subject. If the subject is singular, the verb is will be singular. If the subject will be plural, the verb has to be plural. In the following sentence, he always does a very good job. This one is correct. Why? Because the subject is singular and the verb form is singular. So, correct. Vladimir is going. Sally and Vladimir, this subject is plural. But here, the verb doesn't agree with the subject. We have to say are, plural. Okay? So, is this part clear? Okay. This is the simple form of agreement. But there is another tricky part. There is another tricky part. The following part is very tricky. Okay? To make sure that subject, objects and verbs agree, you need to make sure you are clear about the subject of a sentence. One of the chairs is broken. Here, where is the subject in this sentence? One of the chairs is broken. Where is the subject? And one, no. One of the chairs, no. Chairs, no. One of the chairs, no. On what? One, yes, that's it. One, no, one. Yeah, one, okay? Because of the chairs is prepositional phrase. I couldn't hear you. Okay. One of the chairs, one is the subject, one, singular. Of the chairs is a prepositional phrase, and a subject could be in a we cannot find a subject in a prepositional phrase. Here the verb, do you think that the verb agrees with the subject or not? Do you think that the verb agrees with the subject or not? Agree or disagree? Yes, agree. Yes, excellent, very good. Why? Because here the subject is singular and the form of the verb is singular. So why it's tricky? Why I said it's tricky? Because most of English second language learners, when they see chair, they say, oh, okay, plural. So we have to use are, okay, but it's not, okay. So we have to focus and determine where is the subject, and then form the verb according to the subject. In this sentence, that the subject is one, not chairs. Chairs is a part of prepositional phrase of the chairs. And subjects are never found in prepositional phrases. Thus, the verb must be singular, is or not are. Okay, to agree with the word one. Okay. There is a guideline to help you to determine whether to use a singular form or a plural form of the verb according to the subject. Okay, if a compound singular subject is connected by and, the verb must be plural, like in the following sentence. Okay, excuse me. Both Art and Alan want to learn more about the Industrial Revolution. Want to learn. Okay. The singular or plural? Plural. Excellent. Very good. Okay. What about the verb? Does the verb agree with the subject or not? Yeah, it agrees. Okay. Okay, there is a mistake here. Can you find out the mistake in this sentence? There is a mistake here. Excellent. Very good. No. Okay, I'm back. Assalamu alaikum, I'm back. Okay, another point is if a compound singular subject is connected by or nor, the verb must be singular. Okay, like neither Art nor Ellen knows much about Industrial Revolution. Uh-oh, both. No, Mr. Remy, no way. I thought you got the right answer. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, Mrs. or Mr. Remy, there's a problem here. Both Art and Ellen wants, both two people want, two persons. Guys, please get my point. So can we say two persons? Okay, can we say two persons wants with S? No. Excellent. Very good. Two persons want. The plural form is want. Okay, but the mistake in this sentence that the ball verb here is not the main verb. The main is would. Okay? The word, no, the tense is not wrong. There's nothing wrong about the tense, but the word that should be bull, the verb want, because want here is the main verb. Did you get it? Okay. No? Miss Shahnaz, why again? And okay. I have the permission. It's my document. I can view it. Guest 100. So you need to refresh your page in order to enable the document, the view to view the document. Okay. Again, Miss Shahinaz and Miss Hind, what does it mean, agreement? What does it mean, agreement? Agreement means that the subject, when the subject is singular, the verb is singular. In this sentence, both Art and Ellen want to learn. Where is the subject? Where is the subject in this sentence? Art, not both, no, Art and Ellen. Art and Ellen. Okay, Miss Hind and Miss Shahinaz. Art and Ellen. Are this? Okay, so where is the main verb in this sentence? Want, excellent, very good. No, not no. Where's no? We are in the first sentence. We are in the first sentence. Want, no. Miss Shahinaz, no. Not to learn. To learn is not the main verb here. And this is the mistake in this sentence. I should, when I was making this PowerPoint presentation, I should bold the verb want instead of learn. But you know, like I did it by mistake. I didn't put it by purpose. Okay. Now, Art and Ellen, does it agree with the verb? The subject here, does it agree with the verb want, or the verb agrees with the subject? In other words, does it agree with the subject? Miss Shahinaz and Miss Hind. So unreasonable. I'm sorry for being disconnected. Okay. Singular is the same in the Miss Wissam, I didn't get your point. Miss Wissam, I didn't get your point. If no, want or wants. Here the subject is plural. Art, Amal and Iman. Amal and Iman will be. We will use which form of the verb? Want or wants? Amal and Iman want. Here is plural. If we said Amal, the verb form will be wants. Okay, great. I guess you got it. Another point, if a compound singular subject connected by or nor, the verb must be singular. Why? Because the subject is singular. Oh ya ilahi, where is the mistake? Okay. Okay, the mistake here is that I okay, the mistake is not in the structure. The structure is perfectly good. Okay, the mistake is that I change the font of learn instead of the verb want. Want should be bold, okay, but here learn is bold and it's not the main verb. Want is the main. Okay, let's move on quickly. If it is connect or nor, the verb must be singular. That means the verb will be singular. Why? Because the subject will be singular. If I say Ahmed or Ali, only one of them knows much about the Industrial Revolution. Is it clear? Is it easy? If I say Ahmed or Ali knows much about Industrial Revolution, only one of them. Or here the subject will be only one of them. Okay, the next point is if one plural and one singular subjects are connected by or nor, the verb agrees with the closest subject. Like Art nor his cousins. Art is singular. Art, one person. His cousins, plural subject. The verb here agrees with the closest subject. It goes back to the closest subject. The closest one is plural. So the form neither nor sense of in revolution. Neither the boys nor the coach boys, plural, knows. The verb form here in the singular form, it has a singular form because the closest subject is singular. I hope that it was clear enough and all of you get it. Is it okay? Perfect. جزاكم الله خير. Okay. Okay. When a subject comes after a verb, an inverted sentence, it can be tricky to determine correct subject-verb agreement. Let's see how. In a sentence that began with in a there is or there are. Do you understand the first sentence? It's very important. A subject comes after a verb. After a subject. Subject, verb, object. This is the normal form. But sometimes the verb comes before the subject. When in some sentences which began with there is or there are. For example, the subject comes after the verb, like the verb is or are must agree with the subject. The subject comes after the verb in the questions too. Okay, like is there anyone in the classroom? Okay, or are they your friends? Friends are friends. So we have to determine our subject and our before performing or generating the sentence. Okay, like the incorrect form, there is many reasons not to go. There is phrase is reasons. This is incorrect and the verb doesn't agree with the subject. Okay, there are many reasons. The correct form is to say, or the correct sentence should be, there are many reasons not to go. Another incorrect sentence, a pair. Here is the statistics they compiled. The subject is plural and the verb is singular. There is many. There is are. There is are two verbs at the very same time. How come? We need to use only one verb. So you have to choose whether to use is or are. We have to use only one verb. There is or there are, according to the subject you are using. Okay? Because there is no, we can't use two main verbs at the same time. Okay? Okay, let's go on. Let's go on. Another pair is what is the terms? What is the terms? Of course, it's not understandable. What is that? Oh, understandable. It's not understandable. You don't understand, Mrs. or Mr. Remy? You don't understand this part? Okay. Okay. Okay, we said in any sentence we use okay, I need to type a text here. Okay, we said in any sentence we said the usual structure is subject, verb, then we do the object, but in first and then the subject. Okay, so we have to focus here. Here, when you said there's, okay, so the subject should be singular, like there's a cat, there's cats. Okay, and the question also, are they your friends? Look here, friends came after the verb. The verb is are, and friends came after are. This is the subject. Is he friend? Okay, friend here, singular. Okay, and thus we used as is in order to agree with our subject. Okay, great. Let's continue. As for the gerunds, do you remember when we said the gerund has a form of the verb but they are not verbs? Why they are confusing or why they are tricky? Because two tricky aspects of English grammar are gerunds and infinitives. Gerunds look like verbs because they end in ing. but they actually function as noun. Okay, so why they are tricky? Because they look like verbs, but they are not verbs. They function as nouns. Like Trevor enjoys traveling. Where is the action in this sentence? Where is the action in this sentence? Trevor enjoys traveling. Enjoys. Excellent. Very good. And traveling is something he likes to do. Okay? And traveling is function as a noun. Okay? Is something that he likes to do. So, is it clear, this part? Yes, it's noun. We call it gerund. In the following sentence, however, traveling is an action. Look here, Trevor is traveling to Jamaica on Friday. Here the action is traveling. Here, traveling is an action that this man is going to do. In the second sentence, this sentence, Trevor is traveling. Here, the action is traveling. Something that this person is going to do, is going to carry out. Okay? Is it okay? Okay, let's go on. Let's proceed. What about the infinitives? What about the infinitives? The infinitives, to plus verb base. This is the form of the infinitive. To plus the verb base. To go, to play, to sleep. Okay? Are often parts of a verb chain, but they are not the main verbs or the main action of a sentence. They are not the main verbs or the main actions of the sentence. Angela wants to see that movie. Angela wants to see that movie. Where's the main verb? The main verb. The main verb. The main verb. The main action in the sentence. Once. Mr. Islam, why do you think C is the main verb? Do you think C is the main verb? People who said to see. Yes, the main action. We have to determine our verb, our main verb. While writing our essay, we have to determine where is our main verb. It has to agree with the subject. Okay? So Angela wants to see. Wants is the main verb. To see is the infinitive. It's not the main action. To see, to make it clear, to see is the action that she wants to take, or the action she wants to do, or to carry out. The something that she wants to do, the action that she wants to do or to make. She wants to eat, she wants to play, she wants to run. Okay, the main verb here, want, to desire something, to desire. Okay, and then to whatever, want, the main verb. Okay, okay, this part is okay. Is this part okay? No, Mr. Remy or Mrs. Remy, no. Wants here in action. To see is the infinitive. Infinitive. Something she wants to make, or she wants to carry out. Something she wants to make, or something she wants to carry out. Okay? Mr. Remy or Mrs. Remy. Great. Okay, that's nice. Okay, when to use the infinitive and when to use the gerunds. We need to study this table in order to know when to use gerunds and when to use infinitives. Always use gerunds after preposition. After prepositions we use gerunds, like you will save time and money by taking the train. Okay? Or he is always frustrated after meeting with his lawyer. Always use a gerund after the following verbs. After the following verbs, you have to remember to use gerund. It's not acceptable to write infinitive after admit or appreciate, avoid, okay? Avoid driving your car in high speed, or practice reading, practice your answering the exam or anything, but you should use the gerund. Okay, like I just met catching the train. I'm considering joining the army. Sam and Annie are discussing throwing a party for Jafar. We practice dancing for weeks before the reunion. Okay, so this part you need to study it hard in order to be easier for you while writing your own essay. You have to remember when you should write or use infinitive and when you should write gerund. Okay, and generally use infinitive after these verbs, like decide to do something, or plan to do something, offer to write or to lend or whatever. Okay, manage to help or to arrange, wish, promise, refuse, fail, ask, beg, hope, bother, okay, pretend. Okay, also with a verb plus noun or pronoun construct, use an infinitive after these verbs. When you have like errands, bankruptcy, convinced, many companies, to diversify their investments, to diversify, not to buy, him, here pronoun, and here noun. Okay, verb, noun, but not any verb, one verb from these verbs. Okay, when we use like command, need, force, expect, and so on, persuade. Okay, okay, the last slide. Sorry, what's your question? Okay, to verify, to extend business. Okay. Okay, is it clear? The last point, which point? Which point, Ryan? Okay, let's go back. This one, okay. Okay, when we see this list of verbs, okay, we follow this verb, like advise him to go to the doctor, for example. Okay. Okay. Here we go. If we said like advice, okay, verb like advice. I advised him to go to the doctor. Okay. Here's when we see this word, okay, this verb can be found in this list. Okay, so whenever we see it, it's followed by him, a pronoun, or a noun, like the following. I advised Ahmed to go to the doctor, or to listen, or to play, or to practice. Okay? Is it clear? You're welcome anytime. Okay. Okay. Study tips for verbs and TOEFL exam. Because verbs are the driving force in every sentence, it's the main concept. Because verbs can take so many different forms, you can be sure that many questions in the structure section will be about verbs. Here are 5 tips to help you to prepare for those questions, or these tips are going to help you to write your own essay. Number 1, you have to memorize the irregular and troublesome verb forms. Okay. Number 2, to remember that verbs should be consistent in tense. Number 3, make sure that verbs agree with their subjects. Number 4, make sure that the correct helping verbs are used to convey the intended meanings. And number 5, to use infinitives and gerund correctly. Okay? Inshallah, I'm going to upload this PowerPoint presentation on the group. Unfortunately, we don't have time to do the practice. I prepared practice for you in order to do it now, but unfortunately the internet was very slow and